Hi and welcome back to The Books Are Everywhere. So I'm very excited for this video even though it is a little bit late. I was very aware that this readathon was happening, but I just didn't think I would be able to fit it in and therefore kind of ignored that it was happening. However, I saw Alex yesterday and she has kind of inspired me to join late the Magical Readathon, which is hosted by G from BookRoast, and I am so excited. So G always used to host a Magical Readathon and this year it is bigger and better than ever. I've taken part before and I love that this is a very long-term readathon happening, so it starts in September. You do a month-long readathon in September and then the actual main readathon is happening in April next year, I believe. And I am so excited. So G has spent the last year creating her own magical world with all of these rules and people and species and just this map, which is incredible, and I will show you throughout this video, and I'm so excited, and it is absolutely blown me away watching the video with her announcement, which I will link down below because she will explain everything a lot better than I do. And basically we are starting in September with the Novice Path, which this map that I will put here is the Novice Path itself, so we are going to be following along this map in our heads. So figuratively we'll be following this map, and once we get to certain points in the map we will hit a place that requires us to read a book, complete a prompt to get past that certain part of the map to get to the academy. I think it's called the Academy, Aurelium Academy, which we are going to be joining as students in April next year, and that will kick off the main part of the readathon. So this is called the Novice Path, which we are going to be reading our way through in September. There is also another kind of mini readathon thing happening where you can create your own character, and during that creation you also end up reading I think 3 books, and that is lasting from now until April 2022, so I'm not going to actually do that this month. I'm probably going to include that in a future TBR video, maybe October, but we will see. Maybe a month when there is no readathons I want to take part in, where there is 2 this month, and I decided to madly do my mini golf TBR as well. So this is actually the 3rd TBR video that I'm doing for September. So I am going to be creating my character in probably a further month before April next year. And I'm very excited about that, and I have ideas in my head for it, but for now we are just going to be completing the Novice Path. So as I said, I had 10 books from my other 2 TBRs. I have tried to pick books from those TBRs to add to this one, so I didn't have to add too many books on top of those 10 books already. I have ended up adding 2 books to fulfill these prompts, one of which I wanted to read in September anyway, one of which I didn't, but it's been on my TBR for a while. So I do have books from my other TBRs that I've managed to incorporate in here, and then I have some others as well. So let's get started. I am going to show you the map as we go, which is absolutely beautiful, so yeah, let's go. So the first prompt on this beautiful map is on the Novice Path entrance, and that is to read a book with a map. So I have gone for Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, which is the new Caraval book. Well, it's set in the Caraval kind of universe, which with I think the same characters, or a character turns up in this one. I'm so excited to read this. I really can't wait. I love Caraval so much, and I actually reread it early this year as a buddy read with Alex, and I'm very excited to read this one. It is also already on one of my TBRs. It was on my mini golf TBR for a proof copy, and I do have a proof copy of it, as you can see. So this is a little bit of a weird one because although it does have a map in the finished copy, mine just says map to follow. However, obviously I know that the finished copy is going to have a map, and the finished copy will be out by the end of the month. So I am going to allow myself this because even though it doesn't have a map in, there will be a map in it. So it's a bit of a strange one, but because it was already on my TBR and it will have a map in it, I'm going to include it. So this is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. So I don't know much about this one, but it does follow Evangeline Fox, who was always raised to believe in happily ever afters until she learns that the love of her life is about to marry another person and her dreams are shattered, so she tries to stop the wedding and heal her wounded heart. So she strikes a deal with the charismatic but wicked Prince of Hearts, who I think is a character in Caraval but has a different name, although I may be wrong. So in exchange for his help, he asks for 3 kisses to be given at the time and place of his choosing. But after Evangeline's first promised kiss, she learns that the bargaining with a fate is a dangerous game, and that the Prince of Hearts wants far more from her than she pledged. He has other plans for Evangeline, plans that will either end in the greatest happily ever after or the most exquisite tragedy. So this is the start of another series based in the Caraval world by Stephanie Garber, and I cannot wait to carry on with this one. And then we reach the Ashtorn Tree, and the prompt for that one is a book that keeps tempting you or is on the top of your TBR. And this is the one that I have added a completely new book for, and that is Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer. This one comes out on the 14th of September, I believe, and I am desperate to read this one. I have read the first one in A Curse So Dark and Lonely, and I haven't carried on, but me and Alex do have plans to carry on with the series by the end of the year. However, I just really want to read this one. The proof is absolutely beautiful, and I would love to read it before it comes out, which is why it is at the top of my TBR, and I've decided to include it in this one. It is blurbed by Cassandra Clare, Stephanie Garber and Jennifer L. Armentrout, so that is insane. And yeah, this proof copy is just absolutely beautiful. Again, I don't know too much about this one, so I'm going to read you a kind of version of the synopsis. So in this one, there is a kingdom and sickness stalks the streets, and only the richest can afford a cure. And this one is based around King Harriston and his brother Prince Coric, who are forced to rule with an iron fist. And Tessa Cade, who I think is our main character, is a masked outlaw who is marked for death, but she likes it that way. Together with the mysterious handsome Weston, she robs from the rich to help the poor, distributing medicine to those who need it most. As it becomes clear the only way to save her people is to assassinate the king, Tessa faces a deadly mission that will take her to the dark heart of the kingdom and force her to work with the very people she intended to destroy. So I'm very excited to read this one, top of my TBR, which is why I chose it for this prompt. And the next part of the map that we are going to reach is the Mist of Solitude, and the prompt for that one is to complete a standalone. So I'm going to be reading The Quick by Lauren Owen, which I actually really need to start today, and I am buddy reading this one with a few friends in the next 10 days. And I'm very excited to read this one. It is quite daunting, but I feel like doing it as a buddy read should be quite a good one. And I'm very excited to read this. It sounds very kind of gothic, autumnal, so it's a good one to start in September. And it follows a brother and sister in Victorian Yorkshire on a remote country estate, and there is also this kind of club in high society in London. I'm not sure, I think this is, set in the Victorian times. And at some point, we cannot say when, it says on the back, the worlds will collide. And I'm very intrigued to find out how that happens, and then a new world will emerge full of romance, adventure and the most delicious of horrors, and the secrets of the Quick are revealed. So I'm very intrigued by this one, excited to be doing it as a buddy read, and because it is a standalone I thought it would be perfect to include in this prompt. And then we reach The Ruin of the Sky, which the prompt for this one is read a book featuring ghosts, a haunted house or other supernatural creatures or elements. So I have gone for Emperor the Vampire by J. Christoph. It comes as no surprise, there are vampires in this book, as far as I'm aware. I'll be very shocked if there isn't. And I've had this proof set on my shelf for a long time now, well, probably 3 months or so, and I still haven't gotten to it because it daunts me, it's very thick, and I've heard that the red foiling is going to rub off when I start reading it, so I'm terrified to start reading it. However, I do really want to, and I'm very intrigued by this. Again, I don't really know much about this book, but I know it's about vampires, and I know it comes out on the 7th of September, so I have a week to read this one. But it says, vampires are back, it's about bloody time. It's been 27 long years since the last sunrise. For nearly 3 decades, vampires have waged war against humanity, building their eternal empire even as they tear down our own. Now only a few tiny sparks of light endure in a sea of darkness. Gabriel de Leon, half man, half monster, and the last remaining Silver Saint, a sworn brother of the Holy Silver Order, dedicated to defending the realm from the creatures of the night, is all that stands between the world and its end. Now imprisoned by the very monsters he vowed to destroy, the last Silver Saint is forced to tell his story. A story of legendary battles and forbidden love, of faith lost and friendships won, of the wars of the blood and the forever king, and the quest for humanity's last remaining hope, the Holy Grail. Very excited to read this. I do want to try and finish it before the release date, which I'm not sure if I can do or not, but we will see how I find this one. I'm very excited and I thought it would be the perfect one to include for this prompt. And then we reach Obsidian Falls, and the prompt for this one is to read a thriller or a mystery book, which I wasn't sure I actually had on my TBR already, but I do. And that is She's Too Pretty to Burn by Wendy Hurd, which I want to make sure I read very soon because it is set at the end of summer, and we are nearing the end of summer, the start of autumn. So I definitely want to read this one this year, or I probably won't read it until next summer. And it says at the very end of this synopsis, it's a sexy psychological thriller that explores the intersections of love, art, danger and power. So how perfect. It is a thriller or a mystery. It is kind of like summary though, so I wasn't sure, but it will hopefully fit perfectly. So it is set around 3 characters, I think, Veronica, Nico and Mick, and it says that there is 1 fire, 2 murders, 3 drowning bodies, 1 suspect and 1 stalker. This is the summer they won't survive. So I'm very intrigued. I want to read this one very soon. It's been tempting me for a while and I feel like it's going to be quite a quick one because it is a psychological thriller, so hopefully I'll get to this one soon, so I decided to include this one for that prompt. And then we have one I did think long and hard about, and this is where we reach the Tower of Rumination. And the prompt for this one is read a 5-star prediction, so I did have a think about this one and decided to go for A Beautifully Foolish Endeavour, which I can't help but wanting to call An Absolutely Remarkable Thing, which is the first book in this series. And this is by Hank Green, and the reason I'm including this is because the first book, An Absolutely Remarkable Thing, I rated 5 stars and was an absolute surprise, but it turned out to be a new favourite and I absolutely loved it. So I thought it would be a good one to include because who knows, I might rate this one 5 stars as well. I feel like I am going to really enjoy this one. It is fairly chunky, it's about 450 pages, but I read the last one in like a day, like 6 or 7 hours or something. I sat down and read it. So I'm very excited to read this one and see where this story goes because the first one intrigued me so much and it left me on a cliffhanger. And I don't often say I need the second book, but I needed the second book and I had to wait for this one to come out in paperback to match my first one. But I finally got it and I'm very excited, and Mark picked this one out for me on my other TBR, so I decided to include it in this one as well. And I won't tell you what this one is about because it's the second book, but the first one follows April May, who is walking through New York at 3 AM and comes across this massive statue in the middle of New York on the street. So she calls her friend who makes YouTube videos and says, come down, we need to make a video about this statue, which goes viral on YouTube. So she then has to deal with the kind of fame of that and also wants to find out more about this statue. She finds out that these statues have appeared all over the world and they dub them the Carls, which is the name of the video. In the video she calls it Carl. So they're called the Carls. She's dealing with all of this stuff, with the fame of everything that's happened with this viral video, and it was just absolutely amazing and really kept me gripped, and as I said, left me on a cliffhanger, so I'm very excited to see where it goes. We're nearly at the centre of the map. We are at the Aurelium Academy arc and we need to read a book with a school setting. So I have gone for Of Curses and Kisses by Sandra Menon. I hope I've pronounced that name right, I'm not sure. This one has been on my TBR probably the longest out of any of these books. Yeah, definitely the longest out of any of these books, by far. And I'm very excited to finally get to this. I didn't have that many books on my TBR that were set in a school, or I wasn't 100% sure that they were set in a school, and I didn't want to just pick one out of thin air hoping it would be. So I've gone for this one because I know that the series is called something Academy, so I'm very sure that it will be based in an academy. I think they might be based in a boarding school, and although this one is part of a series, I think they are more like interconnected rather than an actual series. They're more companion novels. So this one follows Princess Jaya Rao. Nothing is more important than family for her. After the loathsome Emerson clan steps up their centuries-old feud to target Jaya's little sister, nothing will keep her from exacting her revenge. When she finds out that she'll be attending the same elite boarding school as Grey Emerson, it feels like the opportunity of a lifetime. She knows what she must do, make Grey fall in love with her and then break his heart. But much to Jaya's annoyance, Grey's brooding demeanour and lupine blue eyes have drawn her in. As the stars conspire to keep them apart, J.M. and Grey grapple with questions of love, loyalty, and whether it's possible for two sworn enemies to find their fairy tale ending. So it's an enemies to lovers romance, set in a school, been on my TBR for a long time. I can't even remember when I picked this up. I think it was about 1.5 years ago maybe, and I'm finally going to get to it. But because this one is more of a companion series than a straight series, I'm not too worried about reading this one apart from the others if I do end up carrying on with the series. So I'm going to pick this one up, which is very, very exciting, and it's what I love about making TBRs, because these unexpected ones come up. So thank you to the Magical Readathon for that. So that has been my TBR for the Magical Readathon, which I'm very, very excited for, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are intrigued by this Magical Readathon at all, then as I said, I will link the announcement video down below. Please go and check that out because it is amazing and G has put so much effort into it and it's just a great watch. And I'm probably going to rewatch it to make sure I've got everything straight. And there's just been so much effort put into this readathon. I hope you do decide to join because it just looks incredible and I can't wait to start these books and take part in the readathon next year as well. So if you did like this one, then please give it a like and comment down below. Let me know if you're taking part in this readathon. Subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, and I'll see you next time. Bye!